Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting edition of Boyographic, the show in which I, Matt the Game Boy, take you through the highs and lows of the Game Boy library. Unsurprising at this point, I guess, this week's episode is another licensed game. It is Felix the Cat. So, we've established many times on Boyographic that the Game Boy library is home to a large variety of licensed titles, some good, some bad, and some possibly inappropriate for children. But there certainly are a few titles on the Game Boy library that simply leave you scratching your head as how they got made. Case in point, Felix the Cat, developed by Hudson Soft. That's right, Hudson Soft made a game about Felix the Cat for the Game Boy and NES. For those of you who don't know, Felix the Cat is a silent movie era animated character created in the early 1900s, and while the character has been rebooted several times since his creation, this game isn't a tie-in to any of them. It came out 4 years after Felix the movie, and 3 years before Felix got a reboot in the shape of the Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. Meaning, he was probably unknown to the generation of kids that this game would have surely been targeted at. Then, why bother with a license at all, you might ask? Well, aside from the fact that a familiar character, despite its popularity, can sell a video game, it's the versatility of Felix that makes him not only a great comic book and cartoon character, but also the perfect choice for a starring role in a video game. As, aside from being black and white, his escapades usually centre around his use of a little bag of tricks. You see, in the original animations, Felix has a little bag which essentially can become anything Felix wants it to be, meaning that Hudson could create some truly amazing power-ups with it. Like Mario, Felix's power-ups stack, meaning Felix has a regular form where he uses his bag to fire a cartoon boxing glove. Then, by getting a heart power-up, Felix turns into a magician and fires bursts of stars at enemies. Get another heart, and Felix gets a pretty great looking all-terrain vehicle. And with 3 hearts, Felix gets himself a tank that fires physics-based projectiles. It's awesome. This power-up system actually works in a pretty interesting way too. On the bottom left side, you see that hearts are ticking down at a rate of 1 heart every 6 seconds. Get to the bottom of this meter and you automatically lose what is referred to as your magic level, meaning you have to go back down to the previous power-up. Think of it as Mario suddenly losing a fire flower and being reverted to plain Super Mario. And just like Mario, Felix can also lose his power-ups by being hit by an enemy. Lose all your magic levels and you lose a life. Unlike Mario, however, these power-ups are not periodically staged throughout the levels as you'd expect, but they're earned by collecting the Felix icons around the level. Yes! Finally a game where collecting the coin equivalent matters. Each icon is worth 50 points on its own towards your high score. Get 5 to gain a milk bottle that tops up your magic level by 2. Get 10 to trigger a heart, and of course, 100 Felix icons gets you an extra life. Not that you really need many extra lives, however, as the game is pretty damn short. In fact, unlike the NES release, the Game Boy game only has 6 different stages. However, did I mention that these different stages also affect Felix's power-ups? In the flying levels, you start out on an umbrella, then you get an air balloon, then a fighter jet. There's also a boat level, an underwater stage, and even a space section, meaning that the cool things Felix can do never stops being novel and surprising, keeping the fun factor of this game very damn high. This means that in your 30 or so minutes of playing through this game, you're generally not going to see the same power-up more than once or twice, which is really a testament to how much work Hudson put into this game. For those of you familiar with the Felix cartoons, the boss battles are themed around the various characters from the show, including Master Cylinder, the Professor, and his dog Rock Bottom, who must be defeated in order to reunite Felix with his girlfriend Kitty Cat in the most anticlimactic ending in video game history. While the series' creator won't win any awards for naming Felix's supporting cast, Hudson should have at least been nominated for Game of the Year awards for their efforts in making a fun platformer that really comes off as a labour of love. Instead, the little awareness the character of Felix generated led to a game with a small print run, making it an obscurity even to this day, with its carts landing on the higher end of the Game Boy pricing spectrum. I say, if you have the means, you really need to give Felix the Cat a try. While it is incredibly easy, I mean, I didn't even die playing this game and it was my first attempt, the experience is definitely a pleasurable one. The game has some of the best power-ups I've ever seen in a video game. Its music is fun and upbeat, and the game looks and handles well enough to warrant the extra few pounds you need to pony up to play it. It's a brilliant game for the DMG that, like its titular character, doesn't get the recognition it deserves, so be sure to give it a home in your collection if you can. And that brings us to the end of another exciting episode of Boyographic, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please feel free to subscribe and spread it around to your friends. If you know anyone that may be interested in retro gaming or Game Boy games in general, please let them know about the channel. You can find me on Twitter @TheGameBoyle as well, where you can also talk to me about some Game Boy related stuff. And if you did like this video, why not check out some of our other Boyographic episodes, some of our Boy Curious episodes, where I look at some of the oddities and bootlegs of the Game Boy system, or All the Glory, which is a long play game of a video game I've already covered on the programme, with none of the deaths, but all of the glory. Until next time, Game Boys and girls, game on.